All right, so which fantasy football players do I think are going to go to the moon with their production this week, and who's going to be going to the bench? So this is the Fantasy Sports Boss, to the moon, to the bench, weekly feature that I do here on Thursdays. Of course, tonight we have the Miami Dolphins going against the Buffalo Bills. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I already discussed earlier today who I think you should start and who you should bench in this game. And like always, I will be live vlogging during the game if anything happens injury-wise or any kind of big performances or developments. I'll be all over that. Now, as far as the players that I love this week and those that I hate, i.e. to the moon or to the bench, gonna start with the quarterback. So right off the bat, the one that jumped out to me the most was Jared Goff. So Jared Goff has the always forgiving Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary on tap. And the thing is, too, is that Goff is going to be at home. All right, so you could certainly lump in Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, all of them. I think all those guys should be started liberally. I mean, you're starting them anyway, but Jared Goff in a single quarterback league, I think this is a good matchup. If you're in a deeper single quarterback league, Tampa Bay just not very good stopping the pass. They haven't been for a long time, and I think this is a good matchup here for Jared Goff. Now, I'm all in here on Aaron Rodgers against the Tennessee Titans. All right, I know it's on the road, but Rodgers, he looked okay. They didn't really have the ball much against San Francisco and that tough San Francisco defense. So I do think this is a good bounce back spot for Aaron Rodgers. So I would dial him up this week. Also, Jaden Daniels, listen, he put up 28 fantasy points last week, and he really did not throw the ball well. Now he gets the Giants, who just made Sam Darnold look like Johnny Unitas. I think it's a really good spot there for Jaden Daniels, so make sure you put him in the lineup. Justin Herbert, he gets the Carolina Panthers this week, and I know this is a very run-heavy offense, but I think if you're in a super flex league, especially, you have to use Justin Herbert this week. I think this is a good matchup, and certainly, and again, this feature is for quarterbacks who are not automatic starters like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. So I do think Justin Herbert is worth starting this week for sure. Looking at the rest of the slate, I do like Justin Fields against the Denver Broncos. I think Fields worked off some rust last week. I think that he's in a good spot here against the Denver Broncos defense, which is just not very, is a pretty average unit if you ask me. So I'm firing up Justin Fields this week. Now, the quarterbacks I don't like. These are the guys that I would nail to the bench. Kirk Cousins, my God, he looked terrible last week. And I did a video a couple of days ago talking about how we could already be on Michael Penix's time. I think this is a bad matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Even though they gave up a lot of points, a lot of yards to the Packers last week, I think this is a bad matchup for a stationary quarterback like Kirk Cousins. I would fade him everywhere for this week. Bo Nix, you're not playing Bo Nix in Superflex leagues. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin, they're going to have a game plan for him. I think it's going to be a very difficult matchup. I would not play Bo Nix in this one. Trevor Lawrence, again, I know I've been the biggest Trevor Lawrence apologist, but when is the much talked about tools, the speed, the arm, when is that going to start showing up in terms of NFL results? Because it just hasn't been there. Now we get to Cleveland Browns defense. It's very tough against the pass. I'm not starting him here under any circumstances. Geno Smith, I'm not playing him against the New England Patriots. Patriots defense is the real deal. And now it's going to be on the road as well. I'm not playing him there. Now, let's look at some running backs that I really like this week. We already talked about the Detroit Lions. All hands on deck with the Detroit Lions. But listen, in a deeper league, I really like what Bucky Irvin is doing. So if you're in a really deep league and you have a need with all these running back injuries, I think Bucky Irvin, he's going to get 10 carries. He's going to get 2 to 3 receptions out of the backfield. He's got good speed. I like Bucky Irvin going forward into the rest of the season there. Obviously, when it comes to the Tennessee Titans, it's going to be Tony Pollard. The Jets just wound up giving up 140-plus rushing yards to Jordan Mason. I think Tony Pollard is going to do well here in this one. The Jets have been susceptible against the run for a long time. You think, the Jets defense is really good. Well, they're excellent against the pass. They're not so great against the run. I think Tony Pollard, you cue him up this week for sure. I like Brian Robinson against the New York Giants. Again, we talked about how bad the Giants defense is. I think you start him here for sure. And then finally, I do think that Kyron Williams is in a good spot against the Arizona Cardinals. We saw that he's the bell cow back again. I think he's going to get a lot of carries, and he's going to have a big game here. Running backs, I don't like this week. You know what? I was going to say Alvin Kamara, because Dallas, run defense has been pretty good, but you're going to have to play Alvin Kamara. He played well last week, and he's going to be getting a ton of touches, so I'm thinking you're definitely going to be playing him going forward, no matter the matchup. Aaron Jones, I don't think Aaron Jones is an automatic start. If you have good running back depth going against the San Francisco 49ers run defense, I think this is a tough matchup for him there. I don't love it. So if you have a better option, even though Aaron Jones played well last week, I don't think it's a good option. Try to do a little bit better than that. Zamir White against the Baltimore Ravens. I would bench Zamir White. He's not a factor in the passing game at all. Javonte Williams, for the time being, just bench him outright. We don't know what the heck's going on here. Jaleel McLaughlin could be the guy. I'm benching Javonte Williams everywhere. Wide receivers that I like. So the non-obvious wide receivers for this week, I really wanted to throw Calvin Ridley in here because I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be garnering mostly the Sauce Gardner coverage, whereas I think they're going to try to feed the ball to Calvin Ridley when he's against DJ Breed, but I still think that's just not the best matchup, so I would scratch that idea. I think I'm going to try out Amari Cooper against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that they have to get him back involved. I think they make a concerted effort to get him the football, so I would play Amari Cooper in this one. Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Marvin Harrison Jr., same thing like with Amari Cooper. They're going to have to get Marvin Harrison Jr. involved. I think they will unleash him against the Rams in this one. Tank Dell. We saw that Tank Dell wound up pretty much with the same target share as Stephon Diggs, as Nico Collins. We're going to put Tank Dell in this one. Now, those who are going to bench this week. Now, you're playing Drake London, but I don't think this is a great matchup for him against the Philadelphia Eagles. The whole offense looks to be a big mess. I'm still playing him, but I'm really not feeling so good about what we might see out of that whole setup. Cortland Sutton is a bench for me against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bo Nix is a short dink and dunk quarterback. Cortland Sutton is a deeper, big play, deep ball guy, especially around the red zone as well. I just think it's going to be a really bad year for Cortland Sutton, so I'm not playing him. And on the flip side there, I'm not playing George Pickens because he's going to get Patrick Surtain. So George Pickens is a guy that I am planting firmly on benches this week. And Deontay Johnson, until we see any signs of life with this Carolina Panthers offense, unbelievably, we're going to have to bench Deontay Johnson. All right, now as far as the tight ends, you're playing all your tight ends. I mean, there's just really no other way. If you have a top 10 tight end, you're playing him. But I would play Isaiah Likely against the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think there's any question he's got to be out there. And I think he's going to have another solid game. Guys, hit that subscribe button. Live vlogging tonight. Stay tuned.